Welcome to Monday Morning Express, where we're coming to you from beautiful Carmel Valley.
You know, Dan, it's spectacular out here. The scenery, where else can you get weeping willows, Canary Island date palms? It's just beautiful.
We're getting a little spoiled, but of course we're not here just for the scenery. Back in episode 2, when we had the privilege of talking with Bob Darwin and looking at the plans that he had for his layout room and his workshop,
I wanted to see it in person.
Now we get the chance for ourselves and our viewers. And you know, Roland, as we look at the layout and we think of, I know I can think of my own layouts and how I try to use every square foot for the model railroad. I was really appreciative of Bob's thoughts on making sure to carve out that space for a proper workout room, or rather, workshop.
Sure.
And I think we're going to see today how beneficial that is and learn a few tips on how and why it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the things I appreciated about working on trains is organization and tools. We're going to see the master at work doing this.
Let's go see if you'll let us in.
All right. Oh, well, he's not... Hey,
Bob.
Hi, Dan. How you doing?
Hey, buddy.
Roland.
Good to see you.
Come on in.
We can't wait. Thanks for having us out.
Okay, come
Let's
on in,
see
boy.
the studio.
Yeah.
All
Here
right.
it is.
This is your repair shop.
This is my little workshop.
Excellent.
Yeah. How about
Wow. This is nice. Everything seems to be within reach.
that? It is. It is within reach.
You know, Bob, one of the things that I see that comes to mind automatically here is organization. Everything seems organized. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I am sort of organized when I can get organized, but I sort of made it more like a professional kitchen where you have a food prep area, a cooking area, and a food distribution area.
Okay.
And here, what we have is we have these beautiful machines. This is my milling table. Okay, this is a milling machine, and of course, a very, very, very good,
Very nice strip press.
drilling press, servo, made for NASA, by the way.
Wow.
And then over here we have our soldering area.
Yeah.
I do all my soldering here, and other things like that. I work on my trucks over here. I got lots of trucks in here where I do all kinds of work. Sometimes I spring trucks if I can, if the truck is capable of being sprung. And over here I have my work table.
Look at that.
That table over there is where I do all my decaling and other things like that. I have a library here of a lot of research books. Of course, the sink is for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
This is my storage area.
Sure.
Everything in this room basically needs to have some work done.
Yeah.
And the top 3 drawers are models that need to be repaired or modified in some manner. But the rest of these are just storage for existing trains.
Sure.
And or cars that I will soon be putting out on the layout.
Okay. I notice your countertops here now are higher.
Yes.
What's the purpose of that?
Well, because this countertop, you can work here either standing or sitting. Just like a computer with one of those lift-up trays. It's very easy to work here, standing.
Yeah.
In fact, I love doing it this way.
Yeah.
But if your back hurts or your feet hurt, I got this nice high
Hold the
stool.
high chair, right?
I can just sit here, and I've got lots of LED lighting here,
Very important.
which is very important now, and they're nice and cool. There's no heat, okay?
Yeah.
And you can see a lot of trucks here that I'm working on. I have lots of roller bearing axles, which are very, very good. These are all castings for the 38 and 41 cars of antenna posts and the car end castings. You know, the steam line and the airlines.
And that's for super detailing?
For super detailing, right. Every passenger car will get one of these on each end, and one of here's one, the airlines. Every car in will get one of these.
Okay.
Very nice.
Now, some of the most recent cars that have come out have these installed. Mm-hmm. But prior to a couple of years ago, none of the importers bothered to do this, which I think is a big mistake, but that's what they
Fortunately,
did.
with brass, I can fix that.
That's exactly, and it's not difficult to do. All you have to do is have a good soldering iron and the will
Which you've got a few here.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got your old hot tip unit. You've got your
my
regular
hot tip.
Yeah.
Never goes out of style.
This little baby has soldered more things together. Oh, yeah. This is not so great. This is fine for Weller.
Yeah.
And I have a drawer down here, all kinds of
Look at
soldering
you.
stuff.
You got all kinds.
I'll even use these, which,
Wow.
believe it or not, these aren't bad because the tip stays hot,
Oh, okay.
and unless you turn it off, of course. You know. But it's good for small areas, you know.
Well, everything is absolutely organized and beautifully in place. But I'll tell you, I've seen quite a few repair shops, but something stands out to me. What in the world is this?
I knew
What
you'd
is
ask
that? What
about
is that? Tell us.
That's a pretty funny looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, what is this?
It's a paint stir stick?
Dan, what do you think?
I don't know. Maybe if you get frustrated to beat it against something.
I could beat myself on the head with that, right? Has a very good, very important function.
Okay.
When you want to attach these full-width diaphragms on passenger cars, most of the guys just use glue, which is bad because the glue hardens and the diaphragms pop off.
Right.
Very bad idea. I always use the 4 screw holes to attach screws. And how else can you attach a screw? Well,
Oh, careful. Oh,
you
look
just
at you.
put this little baby in there like that, okay?
Wow.
Then I can work on it.
Oh.
I can bring it over here and use this machine to actually drill the holes. I put a 1 mil drill in there and just hold this and it'll drill the holes right through, okay? All 4 holes.
Wow.
Great. So it's a way to work on the ends.
Then I bring it over here.
Wow.
I tap those holes. This all takes like 2 minutes.
Wow.
It's not a big operation. And then I use my magnetic screwdriver right there. I pick up the 1.4 mil screw and I just screw them in and I'm done.
And the PVC keeps the car from getting scratched or any type of damage.
Absolutely true.
Very nice.
So you know what this tells me? This tells me that you've installed a few, because when you've installed a few on a table, you're dropping screws, you figure out a way to do it more efficiently.
To do it more efficiently. Well, that's the whole purpose of this thing, is to do things efficiently so you can get more done in volume, you know?
Yeah. And when you're done with this, is this pipe in the way?
When I'm done with this thing, all I do is I go...
Look at this, Dan.
Da-da, and it just folds away.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Like that. Wow.
Da-da.
Beautiful.
Out of the way.
I think you should
Beautiful.
patent it.
I should. Yeah.
You know, everyth's within an arm's length.
It's all within reach.
And that's convenient.
And I
really
have, I have
convenient.
my torch down
Your
here.
mini torch. Look at that.
Hidden away, okay. What else do I got here? Well, you know, and I have all my boxes of stuff.
Look at you.
Yeah, look at
Everything's labeled nicely.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of my trucks, you know, Oriental parts, Sam Honks, the diesel drive, coach yard stuff, miscellaneous screws, diesel parts. And over here, I have all the magnetic screws, the metric screws, and the US screws, which I don't even use anymore. I use all
totally
metric.
metric.
All metric. All metric.
Boy, you know what this tells me? Again, Dan, I got more work to do back at the shop. Because I got to make ours much easier for us to be able to repair.
Yeah. Well, it's so easy to do.
Can we hire you out?
Yeah. Good. I'm available.
All right. And I would think, Bob, taking the time to get everything organized and have the space for it in the long run must pay dividends. And
You know, it really does, Dan. I mean, you know, I can come in here and knock out more work like in 2 or 3 hours than most guys would take 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And all because of tools like this.
right.
And if there's no tool available, you make it. You make the tool work for the job, you know.
Yeah.
Very, very, very easy to do for the most part, you know. And, I mean, no tool is that difficult that you can't build it
Right, right.
like that.
Nice.
You just use a plastic tube and a couple of screws.
Yeah, Roland, we joke about it, but I think even when Bob visited us, that's something we learned really quick is to take a little extra time,
Yeah.
get
Right.
the workspace just right, get the tools we need, solve those problems that keep repeating, and it makes it so
Saves
much
time,
more enjoyable.
saves headaches.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, and searching instead of searching for things, because many times we just tend to get so much on our. I just love the way it's all organized. You can put it back in the same spot, and you'll know you know where that tool is next
and you
time.
know where it is.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's why I appreciated when you brought us. We were able to see the drawing actually of this room and the complete layout,
Right.
and everything. And it's separated from your layout actually, so which is a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
So-
You don't want them together.
Right.
Because I'll tell you, once your layout is finished, this is where you're going to spend most of your time.
Right.
Not on the layout, because most of the work there will be done. Mm-hmm. But this is where you will work on your cars, your locomotives,
Right.
doing all your lubing and all that, everything else, right in this room. And you want it to be efficient. You want these tools to be nearby.
Right.
You want a place where you can sit down or stand up and do these different things.
I'm Boyd Reyes, and I'm over here with Tom Johnson from Branson Scenic Railways. Hey Tom, how you doing?
Great. Nice to have you here today.
Well, we brought over a gift, and I'd like to present it. Here, I'll hold this for you. Show our audience what you have there in your hand. This is how the brass trains are tied in with the real thing.
Well, this is supposed to be a model of the Silver Island, so we'll see what we've got. And it is. It's the Silver Island. So while we're here, we'll check the accuracy of Boyd's workmanship against the prototype.
Today we'll be boarding on the train and going for a scenic ride and exploring the entire train.
Boyd, this is a fantastic model.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're welcome. It was very nice building this thing. It's a lot of work, a lot of photos to come out with something that's pretty close. But we look forward to making the rest of the train in the future. I'm still here with Tom Johnson, and he's got a little special presentation to show us. Nice article. How about that for Trains Magazine?
September issue of Trains Magazine. We're on the cover.
Tom, why don't you give us an explanation or tell us what type of locomotive you have?
Okay, it's a GP30M modified. It was originally built, I believe, in 1960 for the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, later acquired by CSX. And then they rebuilt it, put a lot of electronics in it. It's basically a GP38 now.
Oh.
But they call it a GP30M. And we renumbered the locomotive number 99 because we rebuilt it in 1999.
It's really nice, yeah.
You were going to ask about the paint scheme.
Oh yeah, your paint scheme. So where did you come up with the idea for your paint scheme?
Well, Alan Camp and I were always loved the Santa Fe war bonnet paint scheme.
Yeah.
So we tried to figure out how to come up with that paint scheme, something similar to it that would fit in here in Branson. So we finally, Alan was able to get a hold of a gentleman named John Joyle, with the MD, who was one of their artists. And we found out that he did a little work on the side, so contacted him and he helped us design the paint scheme and the silver is Santa Fe silver, and the red is safety red.
That's really neat. It's really eye-catching. I see a lot of like short line railroads where their paint scheme is like kind of like put together, really not all the way. But this is first class. I really like the paint scheme. It's
and John came up with about 3 different versions of what he thought we would like. And we picked the one we liked the best, and we tweaked it a little further, and that's what you see today.
That's nice. Tom, tell us about your F unit, your custom F unit that you have here. It's really gorgeous.
It was built in 1952 by Electromotive for the Baltimore Ohio Railroad. Again, both our engines were from the B&O. It was later modified and went to Mart, the Maryland area
Commuter.
and it ran there for several years. Then they traded in locomotives for newer ones, and we bought this directly from Boston.
Gorgeous unit. So yeah, if you guys want to model this, here it is, you know.
Well, and boy, hopefully you're going to model this for me.
Yeah, I got my work cut out. There's a lot of details to this. If you notice that this F unit has no porthole windows, so that's a challenge right there to buy an F unit and to go and fill in the windows and add the extra louver. Was it the radiator on top for the generator?
The piping goes back to the Cummins head and power generator back in, which you're going to have to build a Cummins generator to stick back to the back end for me.
Yeah, you
must
have to open up the door.
You're going to have to put a sound card in there so I can run the generator. But we've got custom ditch lights that we did when we rebuilt the car. We rebuilt the locomotive.
Yeah.
We rebuilt it in '98 and named it the '98.
Those are nice ditch lights. They're LED ditch lights, and Tom was telling me the reason why they had to go to LED is because
when you go into the tunnels, they're dripping water, and when the water hits that hot glass on the lens, it cracks.
problem solved.
We're in the 1939 Bud-built Westport car. It was originally built for the Atlantic coastline, then later seaboard. It was originally built with a round end, and in the 50s they sent it back to the car and had it squared off blown in put on the other car.
It's a really nice car.
The original bar is still in the middle of it.
Alrighty. I'll follow you down.
And there's a picture of the train it used to run on.
Wow. Yeah, let's go through the kitchen.
Now we're on the Silver Chef. It's built in 1956 for the Denver Zephyr.
Wow.
This is the heart of our dinner train operation. We can serve up to 200 people on the dinner train.
I wish I could do that with my kitchen.
And this is the dining room.
Mm-hmm.
And these are some glass etched panels that we acquired after the car to kind of put it back to the original configuration.
Wow. That looks nice. Did Amtrak remove them? When
Yes,
you
Amtrak took them out, and we found out where they were stored, and we got them back.
Wow.
Silver Island, originally built in 1947 for the Twin City Zephyrs for the Burlington Railroad. Originally built as a dome coach. When we acquired it, they had already taken out all the coach seats. So over the years, we had parlor seating in here to start with, and then the last 10 years, we've been using this as part of the dinner train. So we have all tables and chairs downstairs, and booths and tables up on the dome.
Wow.
nice and cool up here.
Yes. Totally rebuilt the air conditioning last year.
Yeah.
This is the short end of the car, and when we bought the car, they had restored the original painting that was up here on the wall.
Scott, last time we were going ahead and we wired our decoder, and now we're talking about installing that decoder and then finishing our wiring sequence. So go ahead and explain where we're at with this and how you got the decoder inside the loco.
Well, sure thing. So the best thing to start with in this segment is to look at the fitment of the decoder to see how it's actually going to sit in the locomotive.
Okay.
We talked previously about the size of decoders now being to where we can fit most of it, even in the smallest of steam engines, like this 060. So what we're going to do...
So let's take a look at that.
Yeah, what we're going to do is we have just sat our decoder in here, and here you can see this is the double stick tape,
Right.
the sound decoder, and the speaker itself. We've sat them side by side, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to take, and by the wires and moving it a little, we're just going to slide this whole mechanism forward into the boiler. Okay. Now we have it sitting there, and now it's shoved far enough forward to where it's going to clear our gear tower when we put the chassis back on.
Okay. Excellent. So we've got that. We've got all these extra wires hanging here, and they're nice and long. So what's the next step then as far as wiring it up to our motor? How do we do that?
Well, that's a great point. I want to talk about a couple of things in regard to that. I always leave the wires long because you're not sure how much room you're going to need once you put that decoder in the spot.
And if you cut them ahead of time, right?
If you're cutting, then you're splicing, and that's more time and effort. So I want to go back to the previous episode when we talked about that tip a little bit. Now, these are micro connectors.
Okay.
You can find these on eBay. They're made in Germany, but in my opinion, they're the finest, smallest hobby-grade micro connectors that we can purchase.
Okay.
Because if we turn over this tender, you can see here that I have installed previously the connector for the tender. Now, on this particular model, this is a Challenger Imports 060.
Right.
They have phosphor bronze pickups on the engineer's side.
So you got pickup on both sides.
Yeah, so it's pickup on both sides. So the reason I chose this 3-wire connector for this is because we need the reverse headlight function is one color, then the common for the other side of the reverse
which is
light,
the blue.
And then I'm going to use the white, which comes from the factory, as the other polarity coming up from the engineer's pickup. And then I'm going to use the drawbar as the fireman's pickup, just like you would in any installation.
Excellent.
And then also here on the locomotive itself, we can see that I've already installed this as well. So when these two are fitted together, you can see with just a simple pair of tweezers, you can connect the two sides.
Okay.
So we'll go back and talk about fitting the locomotive itself back onto the frame. Now you can see we have all these wires here, and these are various colors that come from either the chassis of our locomotive, which picks up the engineer's side, or it comes from our 3-wire plug. So I'll just show a couple of these as an example on how we want to wire. So I'm going to bring this down off of the foam cradle and get it as close as I can. So this red in this instance is the pickup that comes from our locomotive side.
Okay.
And if you see, we just need it right about there.
Cut the excess.
So you cut the excess off, which is more than half.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll pull a little bit off the end and tin it like that. And then all we have to do is pull it together. And you can see the locomotive is very close.
And you already had your heat shrink tubing on there?
Yeah,
cut,
I
right?
pre-cut the heat shrink tubing and put it on there. Right. And so I'm just
so
going
nothing's
to,
exposed, yeah.
Nothing is ever exposed, especially in a brass
Right,
mold.
right.
So we're just going to put that on there.
We've seen that before where individuals didn't do it correctly and it shorts out and everything else. You got major problems.
Absolutely. So you basically just want to repeat this, making sure that you follow the colors.
Okay.
The blue to the blue.
Right.
And yellow, of course, is function 0 reverse. And then also, following the instructions, you will note that you have gray and orange for your motor plus and minus. So what we'll do here is just cut one of these for show. That's about right. Pull a little off the end. Tin that. Pull it right down on here.
Right to your motor lead.
And ta-da, done. And so you'll do the other one on the other side, finish it all up, and everything should fit back nicely. This will go on here, and we'll take care of the rest of this and then show the final product as we move along the rail.
Excellent. So we look forward to that, and we'll get right back to it. Well, Dan, another great episode.
Bob Darwin.
Oh, wow. The guy, he's just great. And, you know, one thing I really appreciated about being there is inside of his workshop. You know, it's not a great amount of space there.
No.
But you talk about one guy who is organized, it's efficient, it works. You know, when you think about it, you can just go from location to location. All your tools are right there ready to work on it.
Absolutely. For me, it was cool because I remember in the model railroader seeing that and like imagining what it must actually be like. And that's what it was like. It's perfect. I mean, a guy could just imitate exactly what he has and it'd be a great addition to his shop.
Yeah. So very cool. All right. Also, we wanted to say a special thanks. You know, Boyd did a nice job.
Yeah, he did.
Didn't he? Him and Tom Johnson really appreciated all their efforts out there and at the Branson Scenic Railway, and it was just beautiful. We might use him again.
Yes. And I think, you know, we focus so much on Boyd's modeling skills. It was neat to see. He has a passion for trains. He loves them, especially passenger trains. We got to see that a little bit with this, and it shows through in his work.
Really good.
So thanks, Boyd.
Really good,
Yeah, I think we'll definitely use him again. In fact, we're going to have another part of that coming up.
Absolutely.
All right, and Scott Inman, we just wanted to say our thanks for him. If people don't know, he serves on the Southern Pacific Historical Board. He's authored a number of books. He is a very intelligent young man who is really beneficial to have to the show. So that's another guy we hope to see a lot more of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, really appreciated everything on this episode. It was a great one. And of course, here's what we're going to look for next week on MME.
Next week on Monday Morning Express, Scott Inman shares an important point on how to test your decoder during the install. It's part 2 of Painting a Steam Locomotive on How To with Hal. In part 3, with our interview with Kenichi Matsumoto, we'll discuss the transition of brass manufacturing from Japan to Korea. And you won't want to miss the first segment on weathering with Jerry Spoolma and Juan Zuloga.